And as for me, the question has already been answered. Should we be here? Yes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. You can stream us live at Facebook. You can stream us live at HoosierSophisticate.com if you want to. We've had a heck of a week.
What a week.
What a week indeed. Thank you for joining us for this Monday edition. What's the theme tonight, Steve?
Life, death, bass, and
Lance Bass?
Battle Hawks. I was really impressed with your hawk cry. I wish I could hit that register.
It hurt my vocal cords.
Did it?
I'm not going to fib with you. If you haven't seen the Battle Hawk cry, I have been summoned as the #1 Battle Hawks fan. If you don't know what we're talking about, we got an XFL team. The Battle Hawks is our name.
The Bladed Birds.
We have a sword and wings. Jenny, my lovely wife, drew my chest with a Battle Hawk symbol. That video is on Hoosier Sophisticate. I give a nice little
Hell? Dude.
That's a hawk screech. Don't dude me. Okay. Seth's here. He's leaving. Don't worry. He won't be around long. We only have to deal with 50 more minutes. Okay, everybody. People are loving the Battle Hawk stuff. I think the Battle Hawk might be the thing that saves the city.
It's going to pull the city together.
I think so.
I think so too.
I don't think there's anything else that can.
And it doesn't hurt that Andrew Luck quit the NFL.
Yep.
So that he could
play
be
for the Battle Hawks.
for the
You
St.
heard
Louis
it here
Battle
first.
Hawks.
Welcome to town, Andrew.
Good to see you, Drew. Where you
Come
been?
on the show.
Anytime.
Seth, you want to get Andrew Luck on the show, the new Battle Hawks QB?
Nope, not interested.
All right, sounds good. What do we got on the show
He
tonight?
quit. He said he's in pain. Too much pain, which, it happens to athletes.
Well, Craig
Kind of a
does
weird
happen.
time to announce it, but
Craig broke down. He asked me, what's this about? And it's the life death. You got a tale for us, right?
I have a bit of a tale.
We got streaming picks. We're gonna get weird with Goida. We're gonna get weird with Goida.
Getting
the
weird.
second
Getting
hour.
weird with Goida.
And then okay, guys, I have a fish story. I finally have a fish story, guys. For all the fisher men and women out there, I know there's a ton of them. I went on a little boys weekend this weekend, little golf weekend, right?
Okay.
So it's about 40 dudes just letting loose out in Carlisle, by Carlisle Lake, Illinois, Carlisle, Illinois. Shout out to Carlisle and the mayor. They showed us a good time. We go out there, we have a good time at Old Governor's Run golf course Friday with my father-in-law, who's awesome. You know that crew. I was hanging with.
I
They're
do.
great.
Yeah.
Just some good old South
City legends.
Yes. So it's always a fun weekend for me. I'm playing with the elder statesmen. It's always great. I come back home and it's 1950s in my house, and you better believe it, woman.
You got to start running a tight ship.
Thank you. It's the best weekend of the year. Not really, but it's fun. It's one of the best. It's one of the best weekends of the year. So there's last time I went out there was a pond right by our this place called the Marina. Something Marina is where we stay, right by Carlisle Lake. Beautiful, bunch of sailboats. I said, you know what? Next time I'm gonna fish that thing. I'm gonna fish that dang thing.
You're an angler.
I love it.
Yeah.
And this is what I realized about myself with my crazy squirrel brain. Fishing is the one thing where I can go to my Zen place. I can focus on a bobber, and I can also, fish with a lure. Don't look at me like I can fish with a lure, bobber, and
but
a
why
worm.
do you do that? Yeah.
You put a worm at the bottom of it and a
I know.
sinker.
I know. I did
Okay.
that when I was a kid too.
No doubt. But I just leave that one out there, and then I fish with a lure a little bit too. So that way,
Those
I
are
got
for
two
people who
things.
can't fish, Steve.
I got two things going on.
That's what I'm saying.
You just wait. So I go out there. I get out there Friday, play a nice round of golf. Played pretty well. Guys. You'd be proud of me. Play with the guys. I tie a little bit of one on. This pond's right by the hotel. Grab my fishing gear. I got 2 poles. I head down to the pond, and this pond's as big as you can't, probably 2 football fields long, kind of skinny in spots. Nothing crazy. It takes you probably 5-6 minutes to walk around the whole thing. There's a ledge, and it's 2 to 3 feet down the water from the ledge of this pond, about 2 to 3 feet back from the pond. Pretty much everywhere is tall grass.
Okay.
So when you're fishing, you're kind of leaning over everything. You can't get on the bank, and you're right.
There's
ankles in the water. Yes, you're dealing with, and who knows, the water goes straight down right when you go in. So it's not like I could stand in the water and cast some stuff. And there's some brush and there's other things going on. So I'm fishing with my lure, fish make it all the way around, finally tie on one. I get into a hog. My thing takes off. Well, then I set the hook. I do the thing I see everybody do. I didn't want to hog it. My family, I come from a long lineage, fisher women.
Okay.
The women in my family fish. They ain't scared. They ain't scared of nothing.
Okay.
The Gallus women, they'll get dirty. Like in Cedar Hill, we used to have a place out there. They'd fish all day, night long. It was great. So I tie into one. But then I think it might be a few bumps because when I start pulling it, it doesn't really fight me. Okay, maybe it's a little one, whatever. I pull it, I get it near me, and I see the broad side of this baby, and I see the green of the largemouth bass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm ready.
And your heart rate picks up.
My heart rate explodes. Fitbit. It doesn't have a heart rate monitor, but I assume if it did, it would have went through the roof.
Yeah, for
okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Now I'm getting all amped up. Okay. I'm getting crazy even just thinking about it now. I see it. It takes off, takes some line. I reel it back in. I'm reeling back. I get it over to the edge. I want to go get my phone, but I don't have my phone. My phone was playing music all day at the golf course, so it's dead. It's in my car. Hopefully it charged a little bit. It didn't. I pull it over to the side to fish. This thing is huge. It's the biggest fish I've ever caught in my life.
Okay. So you're talking like, have you ever been deep sea fishing or anything like that?
I have.
Okay.
So I've caught bigger fish.
So you're talking about like freshwater?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I've caught big catfish. But this was by far the biggest bass I've seen in my life in person.
Yeah,
I've seen people catch 3 to 4 pounders, and the 4 pounders are big.
Yeah.
The guy I was with, I showed him pictures of. He said probably about 5 pounds on this one. So I get it over to the side. I can't get my phone. I start to pull it out. If I pull this thing out, it's either going to break my line or pull the lure out. So I pull it up. I can
because you got to go over these reeds that are in front of you.
I can't lean down all the way. I would have to lay down and lean in, and I wasn't ready to do that yet. It was all weeds. I was panicked. I swear I was panicking. I'm not.
You're there by yourself.
Yes, I'm there by myself. Everyone's a stone's throw away at the hotel. So I get it, and I'm freaking out. I go down to reach down to get it. I'm going along the bank first, trying to get it to a spot where I could land it, but I'm getting hung up in the reeds and other stuff on the bank. So I finally find a spot where I think I can get it. I reach in. I can't get it. I pull it out a little bit. I reach in. I'm almost to it. Poof, my lure comes out. And I didn't want to get caught with the lure because when it comes off.
What'd you catch them on?
It was a little green, top green and black with the bottom white minnow.
Oh, okay.
Rapala minnow.
Nice.
So now I am freaked out. I just lost the biggest fish. I've been fishing since I can remember, and I've never hooked into one like that I saw, knew what it was when I saw its mouth. I almost thought it was a catfish or something.
It was so big.
It was so big. It was a large. So I go back and these guys, so it's 6:30. I got a little bit of daylight left. I'm going to keep trying to catch this fish. That's when I go get my bobber and worm because I wanted something out there while I was fishing. That way I could double my chances. I go to all the gas stations in Carlisle trying to find live bait. They're not pointing me in the right direction. I finally find this mobile, and they got a little refrigerator with night crawlers in there. I grab some. I go back, tie on my stuff. Now I'm back fishing again. I only got about a half an hour of light left. I'm fishing. I'm getting a few bites. I get a few little bites with my bobber. I get a few big ones. I'm not hooking in anything. Failure. I go back that night. They're playing bags. Yes. I feel so weird. I called Jen and the kids, and she said, you sounded like you're on drugs or something. Well, that obviously, but I was amped up from the fish as well. So everybody's asking me that night, hey, I was fishing. Oh yeah, I hooked into one. It got away. Sure it did. By the end of the night, the fish it's a whale.
Yep.
I had to tell the story 30 times. Everyone's getting a kick out of it because when someone new would come, I'd have to tell the story again. It's a bunch of guys getting together. So we get together that night. I go to bed early, whatever. I wake up at 6 a.m., 6:20, because I had dreams about that buzzard.
Oh, buddy.
I had dreams about it, buddy. So I get my worms, get everything together in the morning. Now I'm fishing with a bobber, and I switch to a topwater. I switch to a topwater popper. I'm popping it. I get a few bites. I'm seeing some blow ups along the water, fish jumping. Now I'm chasing those. So I'm getting a bunch of bait stealers with my bobber. About 8:20. I've been fishing for about an hour and a half. And then, mind you, there's bugs in certain spots everywhere. I'm battling these bugs. I'm spraying myself down. It was gnats, and then at one point, mosquito larvae out of this world. So now I'm fishing, and I see my bobber start to get tugged. It gets tugged once or twice.
Yeah, you did.
It gets tugged once or twice, and then it goes zzz. So I'm hurrying up to reel in my lure. I got it. I'm reeling it in, and I'm running over to my other rod. I got it. Okay, here we go. This is the big dog. I hooked back into her. So I'm playing with it a little bit. I don't want to hog it because this is 8-pound test line. I don't want to break this line.
It might be an 8-pound bass,
and it's pulling probably harder than the weight it is. So that thing will snap real easy, even if it gets hung up.
You're
on
gonna have to wear that one out.
Yes. So I'm wearing it out. It spools me a little bit. I keep some line in, start reeling it in. It goes zzz. It's fighting my drag now. I had my drag set pretty loose. It spools me. Snap. The line snaps. I have no line on this rod now. No line. The fish is gone. It's gone. I got nothing. I'm sitting there dejected again. I can see my line curly cued up at the about 15 feet away from me in the water. My first instinct is get in there and grab it. But I was afraid once I got in the water, the fish would swim away and then I'd have nothing to grab at. I can't see the bobber at this point. The bobber's gone. So I'm waiting around. I'm looking around the water. I'm fishing in other spots. I'm trying to catch that buzzard. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get him. I see the bobber about 2 inches below the water. Okay, here we go. It finally comes up like Jaws. I see it come above the water. I start casting at it with this top water. I'm casting
at your bobber?
At my bobber. It's in the middle of the pond. So I'm casting at it about as far as my lure will go. So I'm casting at it. I'd get the line, but it would pull through. I'd get the line, I'd pull through. Well, then I got the line where I was like, I kind of had the bottom part of the bobber and the top. So the top's making a U shape around this treble hook. So now I have the line. I have the line that's closest to the bobber's top. So the bottom, I still can pull through. The bottom, it's the line, my treble hook, the bobber, at the line, and the fish. So I'm reeling in real slow because I realize I got it now. It's 15 feet away from me. If I can just keep pulling this thing in, I got it. I'm pulling it in. The fish realizes I have the line. It starts pulling away. The other part of the line starts to pull out of the water. I can see the end of the line over. So now it's a race against time with that. I don't want to pull.
Who's going to pull the line through, or you're going to get to the bank?
Either I'm going to mess it up, or he's going to go so far that I can't get it. I get it. It's 2 feet away from me. He's pulling. I reach out. I got the line. Now what?
It's going to cut your hand off.
I start to wrap it around my forearm. No. I start to wrap it around like. Oh, okay. I knew it was a bad idea to wrap.
Like you're wrapping like an extension cord.
Exactly. Okay. So I said, I'm going to wrap it like that. Well, it pulls the first couple times, and I go, either it's going to cut me or it's going to break the line. So I'm playing tug of war with this fish out in the middle of this pond, frantically running around the shore so I can keep the closest point to it. It finally makes a beeline for the shore. I decide I'm just scooping up line. I'm just pulling line in as I go. I pull in all this line. I get it over. It goes over to the shore. I just dive in, not into the water, but chest on the ground so I can reach in and grab this son of a gun. And I got the bastard. I got it.
My man, ring the bell.
Pulled it out. Took a bunch of pictures of it. When I was taking pictures, I was freaking out.
It was
freaking.
I could see.
I'm dropping my phone. Did you see my face in the pictures?
I could see how excited you were, and rightfully so.
It was about a 5-pounder.
You got a pig. It was a beautiful bass, man.
Did you catch the bastard or the bass turd?
Oh, welcome everybody.
Sitting in the corner, quietly waiting, patiently waiting. All right.
Yeah, so that was my weekend. Played pretty good golf. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't golf as much as I used to, but it was just a good guys' weekend.
I was looking for a picture to show everybody the payoff. If you wanted to show them real quick.
I can.
You might want to hold that up to the camera for everybody following along at home, because he can actually back this one up. I can just imagine that first night when everyone's like, "Boy, it sounds like you got yourself a marlin."
Yes,
just
they
breaking
were all
your chops
on me.
Oh man,
baseball player.
Yeah, Jeff Conine.
I love fishing though. I
Dude,
think it's.
I love that you found your. I love
forever.
that you found your Zen moment. I love it too. You know, whenever we were down at our boy Mickey Dickus's farm a while back.
Oh, that was the best.
It's the first time I've had a chance to throw a pole in the water and I'm a fool because you're talking about being down Cedar Hill fishing. I'm 10 minutes from all kinds of fishing spots.
I know, buddy.
So I got to start taking advantage of that. My boys love fishing. We need to get them involved. But so I had a week.
Let's hear it, baby.
It's not nothing like that because I don't know that I've ever heard of anybody catching their string. You know, Seth busted your chops over having a bobber, but had that bobber not been on the line, there's no way that you're able to hook it.
Buddy, it
am
was
I understanding that right? The bobber got
ride.
caught into a treble hook.
The bobber, the line right.
So it worked like a
the
carabiner,
bobber.
like it.
Yes,
like it hooked.
It hooked. So it was a V shape or a U shape around the treble hook with both ends. One end attached to the fish, the other end attached to nothing.
Gotcha.
And that's how.
That's
you
unreal.
should have seen me because there was a 5 to 10 minute period where I was trying to get it. So everything's going through my head of, well, I'm going to tell them again. I almost lost it.
Yeah,
and,
no, you're going to eat that.
And
story.
I'll follow the bobber around the lake or around this pond until I get it. Am I going to get in the water? I'll get in the water at this point because it was only 3 to 4 foot deep. But guys, the ponds, the fishing we have had in ponds, talking about mixed place. Oh my
no doubt.
God,
No
man.
doubt.
It's so fun.
It is a blast, man, when you get on some private water like that and get a chance to just, you know, those fish have just been swimming around eating everything they can, you know, just being fed.
I've been
Man,
watching.
you know what I'd like to do, like, you know, late teens, early 20s is like, you know, nap during the day, get nice and rested, and have everything packed up and ready to head
A
out
little
like
night
midnight.
fishing?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, go out.
See, I don't
Bottom
like night
feed.
fishing.
Bottom feeders, get them cats.
I know, but that's freaky to me.
Catfish are great. They'll try to fight you. They will try to fist fight you. You ever had a catfish?
That's hard to do without fists.
They're just growling. They're just,
Well, they
that's
do.
what a catfish sounds like. They go, nah.
No,
That's
do you know they do
accurate.
make a noise when you pull them out? It's like
Your impression's more accurate than mine. Yeah.
they like grunt. I'm
They'll,
not
get-
even
they'll
kidding.
stick you.
And then you know what? Just out of the distance, you see a glimmering light, and in
Battle
flies a
hawks.
hawk with a sword,
And then battle hawks that.
and he
That
takes that
fish.
catfish out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
fish with dynamite.
Oh my
I
God.
prefer to fish with dynamite.
Our followers on Hoosier Sophisticate have little titles like milestone.
I thought that was
follower,
really neat. We got anniversary followers, and
anniversary
milestone followers.
follower.
You want to read some of these comments? They were fascinated by your story, Steve. And
I think they're
again,
being sarcastic.
I don't think
Yeah,
so
they
at all.
were.
I don't think so at all.
That's like, no, it's cool, Steve. I'm going to give you a compliment. I don't do this.
What's
often.
cool, baby?
You took like a story where it's like, I caught a fish. That's how I would have told that story. Like, I caught a 5-pound bass. It was fun. And you just made it so riveting.
It was
Thank
riveting.
you.
People
It
were
was-
like,
it was
what's going to
well-
happen
It was
next?
a well-told
I caught
story.
the fish.
It was good. It was a good.
I guess just
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I thought that was an
Thank you.
accident at first. It's like, come on, Mark, not tonight.
Yeah, I think it kind of leads into a little thing we're gonna do called the Hoosier. No,
The Piney Powell.
Wow, wow.
the Piney Powwow.
Yeah.
I wasn't in on the naming. That's why I.
October 19th
Yes, and
or 18th through the 20th, I suppose.
we are going to do a little fishing tourney during the day. I think we'll have a prize for the
Oh,
biggest,
okay.
the
Good
biggest
idea.
fish. I just came up.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Um,
idea.
Biggest fish and most fish caught.
Okay,
And then
that's fair. There's a lot of stuff going on back at camp.
Yes.
There's yoga going on. There's massage therapy going on. There's going to be tantra courses going on. There's going to
oh,
be
it's gonna be.
there's going to be
fest.
probably some Reiki going on, gong baths. Like it's going to be a weekend of healing. You know, we're going to take some canoes out and do a little fishing because I've now taken my friends there a couple times and we have not been able to put poles in the water because we're, you know, restricted to rafts. So, yeah,
Bad
if you're
idea,
interested in
Craig. You
going-
want to cast your line,
what's that?
not the whole pole.
Yeah, I know that's true. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Here's something I wanted to
Steve probably
discuss.
could've put it-
Here's something I wanted to discuss as well. Okay, back at camp, and you mentioned something about this the other day, which I thought was kind of cool. A formal party possibility.
Yeah.
Possibility of a formal party.
Mhm.
What if we did a formal party in the woods?
I mean, we talked about it before. I like the idea of that.
What if we
formal
did
wear?
that?
It's just, you know,
What? But like, what if?
I mean, we would just be wearing a lot more clothes than we should be. That's usually how it all works out. I don't want to wear any clothes. If anybody that's come to camp knows that clothes.
Your loincloth you had on. Was that a serape you had on?
It was a sarong.
A sarong.
It was a sarong.
Yeah, it was a bamboo.
It was so
that is-
wrong. It was.
It was
Dang
right.
it, you beat me. I was like, I'm going in. If I would have been able to stack that on top of the bastard comment,
yeah, you would have.
I would have left. Like,
Yeah,
get out of here on a high note.
Guys, I'm done. I'm done.
Zip your cap and see you later. So I can't wait for that because I'm gonna dominate everyone in the fishing category.
Okay.
And I think, are we gonna stay at the lower camp this time where we
I
can?
don't know. We'll see.
That way we can kind of walk to the water and do whatever we want whenever we want to do it. As far as maybe they leave us some kayaks or canoes down there.
Yeah, we can see how that works.
Yeah, I mean you're friends with the people who run the.
I run
place.
the whole thing, Steve. I don't know if you saw this the last time. I got to run the whole thing, everything. I got to do everything.
Everything. depends on you. I tell you what,
Ideally,
if we want to do it at Spring Lake though, we can. I'll run everything.
hey,
And by
Craig,
that I mean everyone's on their own.
yeah.
That's pretty much what we're getting at. We'll talk about it. We'll
All
talk
right.
about it. We got all
Craig.
kinds of cool stuff. Yes, Seth.
Be careful.
With
Just be careful
okay.
when you
Craig.
go camping.
Craig
I'm
was.
always-
Oh,
I mean, it
God.
makes for a great podcast
I'm
the
always
next week.
careful.
But
Craig was careful when he went to Springfield for his birthday. Happy
oh, I
belated
forgot. I was gonna
birthday.
make a
Happy
big old
belated-
post, and I got sidetracked by like an ad or something.
Nah, fair enough.
Happy belated
Didn't-
birthday.
All right,
Believe it or not,
27 years old.
I am not. I don't blame you. Yeah, Hawks down. I don't know. No,
Talons up.
Talons up. Hawks down. Blades in the air. Battle hawk. We I had a chance to go down to Springfield for a really cool event.
Yeah.
Our friends at ICI, the Show Me Canna app. If you
those
guys
guys
haven't
are the
downloaded,
worst.
if you guys haven't
Guys and
downloaded that
girls.
app yet,
Ugh.
you're missing out because that app has all of the information you could
Yeah.
possibly want to know about medical cannabis in Missouri as it sits right
Yeah.
now. As dispensaries start opening, it's going. I mean, right now it's telling you where you can go find a doctor to write you a recommendation. It's telling you different places you can go to buy CBD. It has all of the. It has the bill as it's written, the Article 14 as it's written in the Missouri Constitution. So if you have any questions, all that information is right there.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, maps to smoke shops.
What are the directions? What do I do right now if I don't have this app on my phone? I
All right,
switch off
you,
of
you
here.
go to the Apple Store,
okay,
the App Store, or Google Play,
Sure.
and you put "Show Me" one word, "Show Me"
Okay.
space Canna,
Okay.
and then there's going to be an app that comes up.
what does the picture look like?
It's
Here,
a white box with black font and I would say somewhere between olive and lime. I'm not really sure. We'll call it almost like it's not as bold as a scarab green, but it's got a nice a 3-leafed plant, almost somewhere in between the fleur-de-lis and a cannabis plant. Anyway, Show Me Canna. You'll see it. It's right there in bold black letters. Download that. You put it on your phone, and you have all the information available to you that you could ever possibly want. It's going to connect you to other people in the cannabis industry. So anyway,
would you look at that? I erased it and downloaded it.
in the time that it took
in
me to
the
explain that,
Yes.
nice. Well done, sir. Show Me Canna app. It's awesome. They put on a heck of a party down there. The folks from Canna Baloo were a part of it, and then our buddies, Josh Loftus and Jennifer Barra,
God, they're the
Home Grow
best.
Solutions.
They're the best.
They helped put this whole thing on. A birthday cake was made for me by another Craig in the group that was absolutely phenomenal. One of the best carrot cakes I have ever tasted in my life. I love carrot cake, by the way. He asked me what kind of cake that I like. I'm not much of a sweet guy, definitely not much of a cake guy. There's like 3 cakes that I get down on, and I know that they're probably all a pain to make. And so he's like, "What kind of cake do you like?" I'm like, "Well, if I answer honestly, it's like cheesecake,
I was
carrot
gonna say
cake."
cheesecake.
Oh,
Cheesecake,
cheesecake.
carrot
Is that
cake,
hard to
or-
make?
It's
Cheesecake?
just, I mean, I don't know that it's hard to make. I mean, this dude's like a world-class chef,
None of us
You
are
know,
women.
but
We don't know.
that's Steve Elgin. You can catch him at 314-880-0808. If you have anything that you want to say to him,
Now,
in
they
his
gave
misogyny.
They gave us carrot cake out in the field in the Army all the time. Big old
They
perfect
did?
squares of it.
Really?
And it wasn't great, but I'm telling you, I don't hate carrot
I
cake.
love
I just
carrot
think it's weird. Somebody's eating a carrot one day and go, you know what?
This would make a
This
great
would
cake.
make a great cake.
No doubt. No doubt.
It's
And then
weird.
my third
how
choice
about
was
cucumbers?
pineapple upside down. And so I'm like, all right, pick one of those three. And he showed up with just a carrot cake that was out of this world. And we were able to share it with many people in there. And it was just a really great night. We packed a Riyadh in downtown Springfield. My family came out. I got a chance to hang out with my brother and sister. It's been a long time since I've seen them. And then my mom surprised me and she showed up. So that was pretty cool to kind of get her involved with the Canna family.
Mom, good to see you.
Good to see you, mother.
Mom, good to see you. I've eaten 4 pieces of cake.
Yeah, well,
Let's chat.
I considered sending her home with some cake, but I didn't. So that's
Your mom's got
that's how it
cake. You
goes.
don't have to worry about
Oh,
it.
you're the worst.
Your mom's
He's
got
the
cake.
worst. Mom's
We've
got cake, Bell.
Mom's got cake bell. Mom's got
So,
cake bell.
And then of course our friends Ashley Markham, their Aiden's Alliance, they were there. What a lovely couple and family and organization that is, by the way. If you guys are looking for a nonprofit to give some love to, Aiden's Alliance is amazing. I think it's aidensalliance.org. Just an incredible little operation. So went down there.
Okay, I would love to second that because every time I think about the cannabis movement, they are the gravitational force that reminds me of what it's all about. And if I was a better person, I would help out with the foundation as much as I could, but I am the worst.
Yeah,
but maybe I can influence other people to do that. So Aiden's Alliance, AY, right? Or AI? AY.
AYDEN.
Yes. AYDEN.
Alliance.com.
Yes.
.org.
.org.
Yep.
Yes. So check it out.
Really great operation, really great family. And, when you think about us passing this legislation, we talk about the patients and especially the parents of patients.
Mhm.
We really dove all in on cannabis, Steve. We used to, it used to be your show and we used to talk about nothing.
Well, it still is my
show about
It
nothing.
used to be your show and it was pretty much about nothing. Then the talent came
Still my
and we
show.
started talking about things and meeting people
Thanks,
worth
Greg.
their weight. And Seth is the reason for all of that. No, but you think about how much Robbie and his daughter, how much of an impact they had. You're running for chance. Like how much all of these. So this actually kind of ties in to what happened. So like not everything was great going down to Springfield. It was my birthday. I was super grateful to be with a bunch of old friends came out.
You looked happy.
A bunch
From
of
the
old friends
pictures,
came
you
out. A
looked
bunch of
real
good
happy.
and guys that aren't in any way attached to the cannabis industry, just hadn't had a chance to see me in a while. Came out, had a couple of drinks. It was a really fun time.
That's what I love about you, man.
Uh,
People from your past love you.
Oh, I
And
love
that's
all of them.
what's
I don't burn very many
difference
bridges.
between us.
I don't burn a whole lot of bridges. We went there. So earlier in the week, so we'll get to the life and death part of the description. Earlier in the week, I got I'd missed a call and then I seen a post on social media. I returned the call and it was kind of a frantic call. This is now the second one of those in 3 weeks where someone kind of close to the family, someone that, is family, has had an accident or been non-responsive, slipped into a coma. And unfortunately, it was my son's grandma, my kid's mom's mom, who is a very young lady, and it was like one of those that you would have never seen coming. You know what I mean? So I get this call and it's not good. And nobody really has any info that she's all I know is she's in the ICU. There's been a bunch of specialists that come in. They don't really know what's wrong, but she's non-responsive.
So she wasn't sick.
Wasn't sick. Well, she was sick insofar as like she had like a really bad cough, was feeling, just under the weather for a couple of days. Her partner had heard her, he was outside, heard her kind of yell out. And by the time he got inside, she was non-responsive.
Oh man.
So they rushed to the hospital, hooked her up the machines, blah, blah. So anyway, not to put too much out there.
HIPAA.
So this is my son's grandma, who he adores, who really, I communicate with probably maybe the most on his mom's side of the family. And she's young. I don't expect it. And I'm not really sure what to tell my son.
Who's how old?
My son's 12.
Okay.
which is a tough time to experience death. You know, he's already experienced. We were living with my dad while my dad was dying. So my son got to watch my dad die, but he also got to spend an incredible amount of time with him up to the end. And I think that it was as good of a dying experience could get for at that point. Let's see, that was 5 years ago. So he was 7, hasn't lost anybody close to him since. And this is, he doesn't get to see that side of the family often. So when he sees them, they have some fun. You know what I mean? They got the cool gifts, they're doing the cool stuff. Anyway, so I know this is going to be a tough one for him. And we speak to our children very matter-of-factly. If our kids are old enough to ask a question, they're old enough to get the truth about something. Like there's really no taboo. There's really no taboo subjects in our house. And we've learned that the more and more we treat them like adult, communicate with them as though they're capable of handling adult content within reason.
You've
right?
seen Ivan in the Gimp mask.
Yeah, totally. Within reason, our kids, they process information, I think, pretty maturely because of that. At least I hope. That's my hope. But I was trying to put myself in his shoes because I would be upset if nobody told me what was going on. But there really wasn't anything for me to tell him was going. I mean, other than the fact that, your Grammy's in a coma, that nobody has any answers, and the outlook wasn't all that good. Mm-hmm. To me, I'm like, he's living a blissful existence. He just started 7th grade. He's just figuring out
football.
He's got football going. He's got some good stuff going. He's really excited about going. And oh, by the way, I'm going out of town tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to tell him and then dip out of town.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I just wanted to get some more information.
And he found out on Twitter.
And yeah, he did. He was on it was on Instagram and it was trending.
At Hoosier Elgina.
Yeah, he blew it off at Hoosier Elgina. So we go down there. It's not a good scene. I've got an opportunity. I haven't seen really anybody on that side of the family much other than dropping Landon off or, whatever. Like, I haven't gotten to see his great grandparents, who I love, by the way. They're just the coolest old couple. I always got along really well with my ex's family, and so they were, happy to see me. Where else am I going to be? I happen to be in Springfield. She's in the hospital. I'm going to swing by. Didn't look good. Nobody still had any answers. They're like, well, we're supposed to get some more tests tomorrow. I said, okay, cool. Doctors had never seen anything like it. They didn't know what was going on. It had shut her heart down, but whatever. So it wasn't good. Didn't look good. And it wasn't the, the gal that I knew. She got a million machines hooked up to it. It was a bad deal. And then I'm thinking, because it even crossed my mind, do I bring Landon down here to say his piece or whatever? And had she been cogent, or had she been, coherent, I guess then I probably would have been more apt to obviously let him come down, say goodbye, say hello, whatever.
Love you.
But I was glad that I didn't bring him along. It would have been pretty traumatic to see that. He's got a good idea of what Grammy looks like.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to have seen that. So I get back. I still have not much information. Had a wonderful time at the event in Springfield. Everybody was really great. Got to stay with some friends. Got up in the morning, blew right back. And
to St. Louis.
Yeah, and so I'm like, well, I got to have this conversation with him. We got to have the conversation. So I pull him in and I just tell him what I know, which is at this point, buddy, I got a call. Grammy's sick, and nobody really has any answers. And I don't know how to tell you any more than that. And I don't know how to tell you that and expect you not to be worried. Mm-hmm. But all I can tell you is like, your worry is not going to it's not going to fix the situation. So just focus on healing, focus on healing your grandma, focus on the doctors doing good work, focus on her passing with peace if that's what she wants, and he was really, kind of got it together. And I'm like, and buddy, the second that I find something out, I will let you know, so, another couple days go by, like at this point, one or 2 days go by. And
he's like, cool. Can I get a Fortnite skin?
Yeah, he's like that. Battle pass. No, he was cool. He was stoic, he kind of handled it. Went in the other room and did kind of go back to just being a kid, which was great. Like he processed it. Okay, cool. And because I told him there's nothing to be upset about right now, and there's really nothing to freak out about because we don't really
and
know
even it doesn't set in even for adults till
after,
like
that's a crazy thing to hear. Because even when it hit me, I wasn't expecting her to be sick. Like she's a fairly young gal, in her 50s, this was not expected. So anyway, another day goes by, and then they ultimately had to make the choice to pull her off of life support. She was non-responsive, and it's hard stuff, man. I mean, really hard stuff. And I'm like, you know, now I'm talking to Miss, and I'm like, you know, I need to have this conversation with him, you know. She's like, yeah, you know, just be gentle with him, whatever, you know. So I call him in, and I'm having this
Be gentle with him, like you're gonna go in there and
yeah. Well, and then she didn't have to remind me that. Like, she like,
I know, I'm just
because even she was saying, like, I found out earlier in the day. I'm not going to pull him out of school for it.
Yeah.
He gets off of a practice or whatever. You know, he was at a sleepover with his buddy.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, well, all right, we'll wait till he gets home, you know, and settles in a little bit. And so I call him, and I said, you know, I looked at him, and I said, buddy, I got a call from Springfield. And he just looked at me, and he goes, I don't even want to hear it out loud. And I'm like, okay. And then, what do you do as a dad? You open your arms and you hope that your kid buries his face in your chest, and he did just that. And, you know, and we held each other, and it's tough for me getting on the whole life and death thing. I didn't know how to process close deaths. I mean, my mom always took me to everyone's funeral. It was like, that was how you paid respect. If this person had any kind of impact in your life, if they crossed your life for 2 seconds, you're going to go and at least, you know, pay respect to their family. So I went to a lot of funerals as a kid, served a lot of funeral masses at church, you know? So like, I was never like, I had friends in high school that like the very first funeral they ever went to was when they were like 17, 18 years old, you know? And I'm like, oh, dude, this is like my 150th funeral, you know? But the weirdest thing was I always would cry for like strangers, like, or people that I didn't know as well. Like I would, the emotion of those families losing their loved one affected me far more than people who were super close to me, because I've always had kind of an idea of we talk about it all the time. I was all in on Catholicism. I was all in talking about being a priest and everything. And like, one of the things that kind of stuck with me was like, well, if that's the prize, you know, then I'm not sad for them. Yeah. Like, you know, they're
no doubt.
So I had a pretty good understanding of that. But even then, like I there was still always kind of an emotional response. Then watching my dad be sick and watching him die, I just processed death so much.
Did you go to many unexpected death funerals? Because that was the first time it hit me. My mom took me to a lot of funerals too. Yeah. The first time it happened to me was my buddy Pat Dolan. Yeah. Mike Dolan's alive. Pat Nolan
for the Wolf Turning.
Yes.
Yeah.
From CBC, and it was, whoa, man, it was all out of nowhere. It was crazy. So that was a tough funeral,
no doubt.
With other people that my mom usually was family member who was 85, and everyone was said no, she had a good long
good
life.
Go
good okay. Yeah. Now we're a little celebration of life. Okay. So were many of them? Did you ever?
No, I think a lot of them were like that's the other thing is I come from a massive family.
Yes.
So there was always a great uncle or something like that. I mean,
I had on a minor scale, and I know what you're talking about.
Totally, yeah. So it's there wasn't a ton of unexpected ones. I had a cousin who his like 7-year-old son died on Christmas Eve. That was the hardest funeral that I've ever unexpectedly. Unexpectedly. It was a weird freak fever thing that spiked like a meningitis type back. Crazy. Matter of fact, it was when I met Miss. It was the worst week of my life. Like and it's a cousin that I was close to growing up in age. Like we were very close in age, but I mean, we're not like we weren't the closest or the best, but in that moment, for a week, I mean, it was a true Irish funeral where I mean, the wake was a week long and we were hammered. Yeah. Just coping in the worst possible ways. So that one was tough. But since my dad's deal, like, okay. And then just consuming more of these tied into the psychedelic experiences and consuming like the Dying to Know documentary and things like that. And really kind of trying to grasp the concept of dying with grace and remembering how much my dad suffered that last week where I was like, I'd never, ever had an opinion of Jack Kevorkian other than like, I remember being a kid and thinking, oh, he has to be the worst person in the world
Yeah,
because
he's
he's
killing
killing people. You know, to being a kid, to then all of a sudden watching my dad the final week, and it was ridiculous because like they had to like count in and out medicine and everything. I'm like, hey, here's an idea. Give him a whole week's worth of medicine right now and let him go. You know, like I was so frustrated and just with being out of having no control over that situation. When I know that my dad was he wasn't lucid. He was a shell of himself.
Yeah.
And like like there has to be a better solution than this, you know. So my ideas of dying with grace and of dying in general just have changed dramatically. And so I have to remind myself this as I'm trying to communicate with adolescents and younger kids, you know. Like I always try to teach my kids to be measured in what they're, you know, and what they're thinking about and what they're handling. And one of the things that I say in my house all the time is that you are not your emotions, right? You can feel emotions, but your emotions don't dictate your actions and they don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, it's a totally human thing if they do. Just understand that, like, you don't have to sit in that and be that, you know. And so it was amazing to me, and it probably hasn't sunk in yet. We haven't gone down to Springfield for the funeral yet. He hasn't had to take in the you know, his grandma in a casket, or, you know. So this is just the very beginning, but just the way that he absorbed that information. He took it. He realized that I was a safe space for him to show some emotion and some hurt, but it was quick, man. He was like a big league closer. He got it out and he was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, okay, go ahead and handle that. I'll rock and roll. But anyway, so it's one of those things, man, where we are constantly being challenged in our adulthood. You know, just turned 35. We were talking about that. And I'm like, hey, you got to grow up at some point, right? Well, nothing will make you grow up more than having to have that conversation with your kid, you know? And this has nothing to do other than how it made me think. On the way home, I was just kind of in my head a little bit, and I was thinking about how, you know, how fragile life is. And this is something that's, you know, borderline cliche. You know, people will say this almost always, like, oh, tomorrow isn't guaranteed, you know, and and all of those things, they're cliches, but they all hold true. But then what really frustrated me, like I sat in this for a moment and I thought about how there are people who have the benefit of knowing that maybe they're terminal or that they're really sick and that they have a fight ahead of them. And so many of those people have to put up with laws being, like we've talked about so many times. It frustrates me to no end that police officers still don't know exactly what the law is in this state. Yeah. That they ask us to exercise patience as they learn the law. Who has been more patient than the patients? Nobody has. And there are people that, you know, now, hey, look, we're here, we're there. Patience, you're there. I've seen more people in the past week. I actually found out this one girl had a totally different last name, but it's her married name. But it was a girl I went to grade school with. And she was asking about her dad who had pancreatic cancer. Was asking about CBD. I'm like, whoa. You're in Missouri. You will qualify for a card so quickly. Your dad needs to be on a FICO RSO regimen immediately. You know, there's still, like, nobody's, even the information, like we talk about all the time, we take for granted how much we know in the circles we run with. And of course there's 50 people that are watching this and saying, okay, yeah, he's right. Let's get that guy some FICO oil. Like, they all know, but these random people out there. And then Lance Storm gets pulled away as he's leaving from Schwag by some officers. And the officer thinks that just the smell of cannabis is probable cause to get into his car. It's this whole ballooning thing. I'm done being patient with that.
Oh, okay.
I'm done being patient with that because I realized that my kid's grandma wasn't afforded even an opportunity to fight something like this. And who knows if it was something that was, involved with her brain, that ultimately, who knows what a properly supplemented endocannabinoid system
breaks the blood-brain barrier,
may have prevented, or may have helped. So, I mean, it's not to say that it doesn't tie in directly, but watching a loved one die always reminds us of the struggles that every day. It's very easy to look at the big picture, look at the big numbers and say, well, there are this many terminal patients in Missouri. And you break it down into X's and O's. And then when one of those X's and O's lands in your living room, then you're like, oh, am I still playing the numbers game? Are we still talking macroeconomics? Because on a huge level, this is affecting this entire family wholly. And how many times has that happened throughout the course of the state?
Ooh,
and so I not to turn this into a bashing thing, but I heard someone say you're going to have to everybody has to exercise patience with law enforcement as they're learning this thing. How about this? How about we err on the other side? How about they exercise patience and relax a little bit on arrests, maybe involving with cannabis or something, and just give the people the benefit of the doubt, because we've got plenty more to worry about. There were 2 kids shot at a high school football jamboree the other day. It's kind of a non sequitur. It doesn't have it. We've got plenty on our plates. Let's chill on the cannabis convictions. You want us to be patient? Cool, great. You know how you do that? Just pull your nose out of the whole cannabis thing for a while.
Oh,
we're trying to figure it out.
We're constantly at odds, I feel. And in St. Louis, we've been hit hard with it, with the Ferguson thing that went on. And you've heard me say it a couple times, that kids who grow up in these inner cities where they don't know if they're going to make it home alive, and cops wake up inside their own neighborhoods and don't know if they're going to make it home alive. Everybody else goes about their day. We're probably going to make it home alive. Maybe I get into a car accident. Okay.
Well,
and we're always at odds.
When both of them wake up, the last thing they want to do is not make it home alive. They have a shared goal.
No doubt.
They have a common goal in living.
And there's been, the drug war, man, putting these people at odds with each other was one of the most brilliant exploitations ever of our government.
It happens all the time.
And we are the government. I don't want to make this seem like it's, hey man, the government is bad and us versus them, because it's never us versus them. It's always us with us. That's the deal. Now you're talking about death, and we were lucky enough to see 7,000 apart and of Sea and Stone.
Yeah.
At what was that place called? Rise or something?
No, is it Foam?
Foam. Thank you. So we got to see them, and that song When We Were 18.
Well, it was my favorite track out of their song. Out of 7,000 Apart.
It's by 7,000 Apart. Look them up on Facebook. They wrote a song about their the guy's grandpa, I believe, and grandma, who she got sick, and it's like when we were 18, we created these good things, and it goes all the way to when they met, to when they're kind of sitting at the deathbed and they hear the doctor's news and doesn't sound good, but we've built so many good things together.
Yep.
I was weeping. Okay. I accidentally put this on with about 5 minutes left to get to Carlisle to meet all the guys.
Show up all teary-eyed.
So I show up, and luckily they're, hey man, this guy's ripped out of his gourd. And you know me, so I'm crying.
Yeah.
No, I was weeping in the car, gentlemen. Don't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Doubt.
I'll have a good cry.
No doubt.
And death it can be this people write poetry about it in songs, and it can be this kind of elegant blackness, but it's also the darkest, dirtiest thing of all time. But also you have these psychedelic experiences that make you think it's okay. But also you grew up a Catholic, and there's hell is a possibility. Death is one of the most multifaceted, wild things to just think about, because no one knows, baby.
Yeah, it doesn't happen to life; it happens in life. It's a part of the journey. Like, it's a part of the story.
No doubt.
And so, like,
undefeated.
Why? Yeah, and why have it represent, like, we all know how much it pissed us off to watch the last season of Game of Thrones. Like, let's not treat death that way. Let's just wrap this thing up real nice. Like, Jennifer Barra brought up a great point, exactly like Nolan's incident at CMH.
Yep.
Because we just lost Nolan 2 weeks ago, and the guy was a terminal patient. All right, just looking for an ounce of hope. And all of a sudden, some boots are going to stomp into a room and start rifling through bags because somebody, a nurse or somebody, had reported that they had seen cannabis. Get out of here with all that noise.
Yeah.
Stop it. Like that's a real easy one. If they're in a hospital, stop.
Yeah, we got to work
Stop.
together on this stuff.
Stop.
That's the
Heart-
whole,
Stop.
that was not a good look.
And that's okay. So here's the hope that we have. The CMH incident with Nolan. All of a sudden, they're like, "Ooh, okay, we got to figure out a little better bedside manner. We got to figure out where to pick our battles, which maybe just don't pick any battles with cannabis for just, I don't know, 9 months. Figure it out."
I know, and I'm bad. I haven't done much research to see if there are any law enforcement agencies that are really saying, and maybe some of our fans can let us know that are saying, no, we're with the people on this one.
Well, okay, so there's a guy, I'll shout him out. I'm not sure if he's a part of the page, but Tony Kirk. I saw him. He was very involved with. I remember as Austin Peterson was campaigning and stuff, I saw him commenting on a lot of stuff, and I found out that I think he either is law enforcement or ex-law enforcement. He was saying with the incident with Lance Storm that that there is now, because if you'll remember after Lance's pullover, and Lance handled it really well. Yeah. I know a lot of people wanted to say, man, you got a magazine, companionmag.com, check it out. You got a magazine, you can be a voice, you know, damn the man, you know. Well, actually, I think the way that he handled it was great.
Perfect.
Because he returned serve, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of guys that were actually in the wrong, that were actually breaking the law. And they're not exactly sure where the law sits. And then it actually got an opinion out of the Joplin police chief to say, no, yeah, it's still illegal. Well, no, he was wrong too. Yes. So now this video is being used and being circulated from some rumblings. It's being circulated around police departments around the country. I mean, around the state, on how not to handle how to handle the deal. So I know we're running up against it.
Are we up against it?
Yeah, we just rambled right through that first hour. You guys got a heck of a fish and hog story. You got a little sad story out of the Queen City. You guys want to jump to break? Are you sticking around? Or are you blowing out of here? You're done.
I'm blowing out of here. I've been here since 12-hour shift off of 4 hours.
You want to give our fans any parting words before you blow out of here?
I love everybody.
Seth loves you.
It's been a very busy day. It's been, I've been having a lot of information thrown at me, and I don't know exactly what I'm in liberty to discuss.
Okay.
But
very good.
Craig, before we go to break, I do want to announce someone will be producing a morning show soon.
Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
Oh, right.
Oh,
good.
I might have a
You're
new
welcome
job here.
You got a new job? Maybe
I'll be under this roof.
Okay,
I'll be doing some other things.
Is this like
fun?
Has this been solidified, or are these rumblings? Because I don't want to yay, good job, and then next Monday comes around and you're like, oh, I didn't do it.
If that happens, I wouldn't say eat crow. I'm not really betting on anything, but
crow's delicious.
I'll bet it's not bad.
I just watched that
Black and
70s show.
Black and Crow sandwich
episode where all the boys go hunting on that 70s show, and Fez has got like a stick and a whistle, or he like whistles and he's got a stick, and they're all laughing at him, and he comes back with a couple of clean birds before the guys have even broken camp. and they're roasting it. They're like starting to. They're eating like,
where's he supposed to be from?
This is delicious, and he's like, he goes, I have one of the feet here. And he's like, this black chicken foot, and he's like, you just feed us. Hyde's like, you fed us crow. I thought it was pretty hilarious.
They're smart.
Oh, they're so smart.
I'm
fascinated by crows.
Me too. Let's do hour 2, all crows.
All crows.
Crow's milk.
Until the Battlehawks come in. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. Stick around to the other side of the break. I think we're going to get weird with Carolyn Goida.
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
All right, we're going to do that. We got a couple of maybe a rabbit hole topic or two. We got some awesome streaming picks. I guess we'll do the albums next week when you're back.
Scott will be back. I'll be back.
Scott will be back. You'll be back. I'm ready. I'm already ready to give you guys your next album, your next assignment.
Steve, you're going to actually like this one. I was like, gee, what's something I love that I think, Steve, this is going to be one of your new favorite bands.
Okay.
It's a local band, too.
I like it. Stick around. This is
Hold on. Patrick Nolan Roberts.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. I'm glad you
Mike Dolan's
corrected
still
that.
alive.
I'm glad you corrected that. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. Stick around to the other side.
Yanks come home. After a hard-fought battle in the Aleutian Islands, and after saving the homes, ideals, and values of free people from Axis domination, our boys and girls are coming home after kicking Hitler's butt. Oh boy. On the home front, Bell Chiropractic and Pain Management has been helping our boys and girls with back pain, primary care, and medical marijuana physician certification. The Devil's Lettuce. Visit Bell Cairo STL for more details.
Hey guys, it's me, Kippy the Crazy Koala Bear, and I'm here to tell you about James Carlton Insurance.
It's quiet down.
It's the best.
It's quiet down and listen to Kippy.
Grown-ups need insurance, and Uncle James can help.
Right on.
Insurance. He's got the best reviews on Yelp. Grown-ups need insurance if they want to protect their house.
Yes, sir.
Grown-ups need insurance if they want to properly bury a spouse.
That's a bit morbid.
Grown-ups need insurance if they drive a truck.
Okay.
Grown-ups need insurance just so they don't get...
Oh, Kippy, you can't.
Well, I was just
No,
going to
you
say
cannot.
get in trouble.
Okay, well, it
You don't
sounded like
want
you
to
were
get
going
in
to
trouble.
you were going to say something else. James Carlton, State Farm Insurance. You can find him online at carltoninsurance.net, or you can call him at 314-961-4800.
Jill.
Last a lifetime. Last a lifetime.
And just go Google it. I wanna let those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna let those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding. Google it.
Roof up for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo. Cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know I'll do the same.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
Spiders are found on nearly every continent on the earth. Bugs and arachnids and other little critters are vital to the Earth's homeostasis, keeping our planet in balance and making all of our lives better. They are vital, beautiful little creatures. Unless you come in my house, and then I'm calling Rose Extermination. Rose Extermination!
When we installed internet access on our computer, I got the whole family involved. It was a lot of work, but it was really worth it.
That's right, Dad. Now the whole family can stream WGNU live by visiting WGNU920am.com.
We installed the internet on our computer just a short time ago, and I haven't been able to get the kids off it ever since.
That's right. Isn't the internet neat? You can also listen to past shows and featured interviews on our homepage.
No wonder you guys are always so busy on the computer.
WGNU920am.com. Point, click, and listen live.
It's really cool.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Sergeant Jabari Wright.
In the Army, I was trained as a combat lifesaver. In 2012, had an accident and became paralyzed. I was used to working in healthcare and how am I supposed to help people, and I'm in a wheelchair now. It really severely impacted my confidence.
Jim Arndt, PAVE program, Paralyzed Veterans of America.
PAVE helps veterans rebuild lives with valuable careers. We assess the skills, build the resumes, and help with the interviewing skills to be able to find a career that our veterans are looking for.
PVA took what I was doing in the military and helped me translate that to meaningful employment in the civilian sector. hooking up with them helped to empower me.
PAVE really concentrates on the one-on-one relationships. Unlike other programs that measure success by placements alone, PAVE places greater emphasis on quality jobs and continued support. Our Partner for Life guarantee.
To learn more, visit pva.org, a public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14, 31, 13. We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. I realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Sports and entertainment, business and politics, health and wellness, all on WGNU, the talk of St. Louis.
I think it's time for you to have your lysergic acid. Drink this down, and we'll be back after a while and see how you're doing.
Welcome back, St. Louis. Let's get your mind right with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU.
It's here. Can't you feel it? Everything is in color, and you see all the molecules. Can't you see it? See it? See it? See it? See it?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back here in Hoosier Sophisticate Radio Land. Thanks for joining Craig and Steve. We got the whole studio ourselves.
Oh, buddy. I like it. You know what we should do? We should probably do a little bit of business.
That's what I was thinking.
Who was that first hour brought to us?
I think Truman's, because we had such a good time, and I think we're going to get into that a little bit. We had a live show last week at Truman's.
We did.
We had Hoosier Jeopardy.
I don't know if we can use the name Jeopardy, but yeah, we had
Hoosier
Jeopardy.
Party.
Yeah, Geo Party.
Hoosier Geo Party was awesome.
It was cool.
I did 3 wardrobe changes.
You did. Well done,
I didn't
sir.
poop in my pants, which was a different.
That's a first for Truman's.
That was different than the last time I was at Truman's when I did have to wear my robe and poop in the alley in a porta potty, and that's our guest's favorite story. And we got an opening for this new segment that we got.
Oh, we do.
And Mark, go ahead and play it. It's time to get weird with Goida. Hey, Carolyn Goida, are you on the line here?
Yes, and I absolutely love that. And we are definitely getting weird tonight.
Oh.
But hey, first, I also want to congratulate the people from the Geo Party. What was it? Wolf and Dolphin were really kicking butt. What was the other one?
The owl.
Combat? I forgot what the third one was.
The owl ended up winning it.
Owl. Oh, that's right. I don't like to think of the owl. It's dangerous. Who was there?
Oh, we had everyone. For those of you who didn't see the show, we had everyone chime in as an animal noise, which I think
it was cool.
Thank you. That's why we call it Getting Weird with Goida.
Hey, and Mark needs a attaboy for trying to get sound up, man. You guys were driving him crazy.
Mark
I think he earned a raise
was
last week.
fantastic last week. We should brag on him a little bit, but we won't.
Yes, we should. He
That's
did an
right.
excellent
Well, he
job.
paid me for that comment, but that's okay.
No, he was really terrific because we couldn't.
We'll never
hear,
tell him that.
We couldn't tell. We were contending with 3 different kinds of sound. You had live sound.
Yeah.
You had sound on the internet. Mark just turning dials.
He was flipping switches.
He was.
And the 6-4 was bouncing.
Yes. Yes.
Well, he was keeping up with your wardrobe changes, worrying about a birthday suit he heard about. So I don't know.
Oh, you settle down over there, Goida. All right, you settle down
Hey.
right now, lady.
Hey, I don't know. You guys are talking about fish and funerals. Who's effing around? Not me.
You
guys.
That's
You
a
got
great
so
joke.
serious. I had to go out and get a vintage box of wine open.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I winos are my people.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
thing.
Hey, I gotta say, you want to get weird? I actually have been with over 40 people when they died. I used to volunteer at the hospice, and they would ask me to sit with people as they were dying. So I've been with over 40 people, and I used to work the grief room at Mizzou for the veterinarian thing. And with the cats and the dogs and the horses, and I even was there when a pig died. It was interesting. So if you ever want to, and I took a death and dying class at St. Louis U, and it was wild. Our teacher was dying, and so was half the class. So we got into all kinds of strange things, and the stuff I saw when I was with the people dying, it convinces you there's an afterlife. Absolutely.
Right.
So
Go into it.
do feel good about your grandma.
What
I'm
happened?
Sorry she was so young though. Well, I tell you, I've seen so many things. You really do. I've seen things raise up from the body. It's sort of a blue. Most of the time, it was sort of a bluish, sort of a almost like a ethereal type of a. It's not smoke. It's not. There's not a great word for it. It's almost like in the sunlight and the moonlight. It's not something you know. One great guy that everybody. It was in the where the VA where he was in there. He was dying and nobody wanted to go in his room because he was ass and he was just a cantankerous old fart. But nobody expected him to want anybody. And I'd volunteer so people were passing and I got to where unfortunately I could usually tell too, which is kind of creepy. Nobody should die alone, and it's not scary anyway. At least not to me. I mean, nobody gets out of here alive that I know of yet. So anyway, I was with this guy, and oh God, he was so bitter about life and saying that too, and then he passed into like the little coma they get sometimes ahead of time. And the nurses came in and they said, "Oh, you can go home if you want. He's just going to go sometime during the night." And I said, "No, I give my word. I stay with everybody." And I said, "I'll just stay here. I got no problem. And I got the whole night, whatever, and tomorrow if need be, And so I'm just sitting there. And I'm telling you, that room got so quiet. There was nothing. You couldn't even hear the sounds from the other machines, from the other rooms. It was almost bizarre. And then all of a sudden, he woke up. And he looked at me. His eyes were as clear that I've ever seen this guy ever have. And he looked at me and was smiling. And he says, "You were right. There is an afterlife. I should have listened." And he says, "But it's okay." And he smiled and he passed away.
What? That's beautiful.
It was wild. I'm telling you. And I mean, a lot of people get scared sometimes, or they cry. You just talk to them, and you get them talking about things that happened. And it's really not scary. I had a friend who. Chulik, he's a marvelous guy, Peter Chulik. His dad was a friend of my dad, and I used to run around his funeral parlor. It's over there on off of Chippewa. Chulik Funeral Home does a lot of Slavic folks, and you get used to seeing dead bodies; they don't bother you. And you see things in funeral parlors too, because it's like when it gets quiet. Sometimes when the body is still waiting there because people haven't shown up yet, or it's waiting till the next morning till people come back. You will hear things and you'll see things. And I mean, I've never seen anything that frightened me. And I don't think anybody dead can do anything to you anyway. And I thought, well, try it if you think so. But I mean, I've never had anything mean show up, nothing demonic or anything.
See,
but
that's where,
I want you to feel good about your grandma. I mean, your mom, you know what I mean? Your son, if he's
sure.
54 is too young to go, but we all, and I said, nobody got out of here alive. Even Jesus Christ didn't make it. Everybody, they kill everybody here. So this is just one of the way stations.
There you
so
go.
Don't freak out over it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Both of you guys going to funerals a lot. That says a lot for your parents. A lot of people I've met have never been to a funeral.
Yeah, my mom was.
They don't. Yeah, they don't take kids. Well, they don't take kids.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
I take mine just because, what am I going to do? Pay a babysitter?
Well, hell yeah, you take them to vote, you take them to funerals, you take them everywhere.
What you didn't tell people about you working in those places is, right, she would put the pillow over the person's head. That's how she was always in the room.
She was the fixer?
She's like, I'm getting the sense this guy's going to die. And then she suffocates him.
Well, it's been a couple times I was in a hurry. I kind of
speed it up a little bit.
That's wild because my wife and a lot of the people on our page, Sophisticated Hoosiers, they believe in mediums and all that stuff and talking to dead people. And I used to watch Long Island Medium and I cried every single episode because she had me reeled in. And then I watched some things about cold reading and I realized what that was and knew that I had been duped, madam.
You'd been had.
So I have a hard time believing in the stuff. So it's interesting to hear.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I didn't try to talk to anybody after they died because I don't know what you're going to talk to. So I know I have a lot of friends who believe in, oh yeah, everybody talks to the dead, just like they think, the Pleiades are here every other week, and you can fly somewhere else. And I tell them, I said, you got to be careful. It's a little bit like how Jacques Vallée went from being UFOs to being demons, is that you don't really know what you're talking to. So when people tell me, oh, I've talked to the dead, I'm like, you're not sure that's really that person, because if it's truly something evil or demonic, it can look like or sound like whatever it chooses and whatever you think you want to see or hear. So, I mean, when I was doing all this, I made sure, hey, I'm sorry, once they were gone, don't tap my shoulder, sucker. I'm leaving. I'm not going to talk to you. I mean, once you're gone, good luck. I'm going to go home, have a glass of wine. And or a good stiff lager or porter, and I wish you well. But I mean, I don't invite things to talk to me. That's a little creepy. Where I'm at right now, I'm on somebody's property that used to do a lot of rituals, and I told her, I said, you have no idea what because there really are entities, whether we want to call them evil or not, or we want to call them demons. Think about it. It's just like that Star Trek episode. Remember that one where the Klingons and the Star Trek guys were fighting each other, and the other thing was enjoying it and benefiting from it? I've always said this, there are entities like that, because across this multiverse, there is something that develops for the opportunity to take advantage of that chemical, kinesic, biological energy, whatever it is. Something will take advantage of it. So if you've got negative energy and you've got fear and you got war and all these horrible things going on, it's only logical that something would evolve to, live off of that energy, because it's there. It's just common sense. I mean, we got things living in radioactive water and in nuclear power plants. We got things living in chemical geysers, Yosemite. Well, why wouldn't we have things that live off of fear? Because we're looking about every time we get scared or that biological and chemical and the energy we're putting off, that's a lot of energy. Just like when we're happy and we can make a plant grow, or we can help somebody heal by sending positive energy. You really can. But I mean, think about it. It would be weird if something didn't involve, why would there be a void? So that's why I say, something's already dead. Something's dead, let it go.
Well, it's like
And
the carbon
don't be talking
base.
to it.
If it's carbon based, then we kind of give validity to it, which I always thought that was weird about aliens. When we went out to search for aliens, we go, well, there's no water. There's no water. There's no aliens here. Okay, guys. That always blew me away, because they could live off of anything. But I think what you're saying,
everywhere.
Yeah, there's ice all
I'm not sure if I'm believing that things can live off the energy of fear.
Why?
Wait. Things live off
not
of light.
I'm not.
Plants live off of light.
Yes, and light
That's
waves.
energy. It's just
and
light.
chlorophyll.
And they convert light into food.
More
Why
like
couldn't
borophyll.
all this energy we put off? That's why you wonder.
Sure,
all these
but you can
Think about
measure
it.
that. You can't measure negative energy.
Yes, you can. Yes,
How?
they can. Yes, they can.
How do you do that?
First of all, you can see it in Carillion photography. You can see it when they measure when somebody's alive and dead. You can actually see the amount of electrical current and chemical energy that every individual is putting off, and it's being expended around you. You're giving it off. So when you're happy, you're giving off one type of frequency.
I can buy that.
A different type of energy. Then when you're negative or you're fear, that's why we could like this Maxwell thing with Epstein. When you want to talk about real child molesting, this Luciferian stuff, they live off of scaring, especially little kids, because it's such innocent energy and fear.
It's like
that, when you're really scared or you're in a war zone, you are really pumping out adrenaline. And
Well, wouldn't there
all
be
these
demons
chemicals.
or whatever running around battlefields then, if things could live?
I think there are, but I that's why I see demons is just a name we gave to it.
Well, you know what
Because
else
it
we
would
need
make
out on the
sense-
battlefield?
What?
The
Oh,
Battlehawks.
The Battlehawks. I'm not fighting demons without Battlehawks. I can tell you that right
Let's hear
now.
your Battlehawk cry.
There we go.
That was a seagull. I like it though. Thank you so much. We are getting weird with Goida.
I love getting weird with Goida.
And this is great.
One of these times, I just want you to just dump something on us that we're not even finding out there. I want
Take
you
a
to give
dump on us.
just get weird with it. scare us a little bit with something that we don't know
right now.
I don't. Just whenever. Maybe next time. I just want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there. I don't want to feel like you're pigeonholed into talking about what we're talking about because you're the one that knows everything and we know nothing.
Can you give us a few thoughts on Tesla before you let us go?
Well, oh, definitely. But we also talked about, like I said, you guys were talking about funerals, so we needed to talk about that. Now, I don't have any great fish stories right now, except the fact that we need to. This will tie into the fish, and then when you guys were talking the week before about Epstein, the one thing people got to realize about all that, we're only hearing about this guy. We're not hearing the whole picture. And on my page, I've posted Ghislaine, I call her G Maxwell because her name is just so fucked up messed up in the first name. It's like, okay, G Maxwell, she did a great thing. She was helping the oceans, talking about the waste out in the oceans and what was going on with the fishing, that, they're overfishing, that you have fish nets that you can get 8 or 10 747s in and just swallow everything in that huge area of water, and that they scrape the bottom just raw when they're going for all the crabs and all this stuff and destroy the ecosystems. So, I mean, here you've got somebody that we're supposed to hate because supposedly she was, digging up kids for this guy. But then when you find out this was a very intelligent woman, probably working for intelligence. So was he. He's probably alive, because you got to realize you don't generally empty both cells on either side. You don't get rid of the cellmate. You don't intentionally have the cameras not work. And whether that was him and he was murdered, he got a will written up 2 days before, but all the will did was hide the money into a trust. So he can still be alive. It's great. And that could easily have been, when you're that filthy rich, you can easily have doubles. Everybody's got doubles at that level.
I got a double.
So whether that was a double or him or not, we'll never know. Unless, because even if they do DNA, you can, who do you have to pay? If you can get in there and kill the guy and break a bunch of bones in his neck and call it, strangulation, or call it, suicide, it's like the people that keep shooting themselves twice, to suicide themselves. And you talk about fish, you were fishing today, you were getting that great bass. Well, here is G Maxwell talking about the oceans. And when you really listen to this woman, and they can go on my Facebook page and listen to her, this is an intelligent, articulate woman, probably ticking off a lot of people. She's talking about whaling. She's talking about overfishing. She's talking about pollution in the water. She's talking about the plastic in the water. She's talking about the garbage gyres in the water and how, this garbage area is the size of Rhode Island and every ocean. I think they probably ticked a lot of people off. I almost kind of wonder if Epstein wasn't another Noriega and Hussein. He'd just gotten out of control, just like the Shah of Iran. It's like, okay, now we got to get rid of this guy. We create him. And now all of a sudden they got money and they think they're independent. Man. And everybody's trying to say, oh, well, what was it? Did Hillary sneak in there? Or did Bill? Because, they got so many dead people behind them. It's not funny. But, they all do. All these guys at this level. And you wanted to get into Tesla. How about the fact that Donald Trump's uncle was the person that suppressed the Tesla files after Tesla died?
Unreal.
A lot of people don't know that. And this is a guy that had to be so connected that when Tesla died, they didn't ask Einstein to go through his files. That, any of these other people,
that's
they didn't
weird.
ask Max Bohr. They got Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump, was the guy that evaluated. So when people tell me Donald Trump is, oh, he's not a part of this swamp. Oh, yeah, really?
He's a swamp.
I think the swamp's pretty deep.
He's old Greg.
Swamp.
What you doing in my Waltus?
Swamp.
So have I surprised you yet?
You did surprise us.
Goida, you always bring the heat. We got to let you go, but we want to get weird with Goida, maybe on like a weekly basis, maybe bi-weekly. I don't know, maybe monthly, depending on how well I sleep tonight. Because I don't want to be scared.
It depends on how many fish stories you got.
I got all the fish and all the diarrhea stories for you, girl. You know that, okay?
You're gonna be talking about pooping in the alley again?
Always.
You darn right. That's what this is my claim to fame.
You do know that Tesla got Mark Twain. He gave him the diarrhea when he made him stand on the thing, and he turned on the machine, and it was so much fun. Mark Twain was like, "Oh God, this thing really feels good," because it was kind of probably the other way too. And the next thing you know, Mark Twain had to run out to the outhouse. So hey. Tesla even gave our good buddy Mark Twain the,
Hey, you know what's great? Every time I'm about to, you know what, I always almost diarrhea, which is weird because I thought I was the only guy.
Oh
But
my goodness
me and Mark
gracious.
Twain.
We have lost
that.
control here.
Getting weird. Let's hear that drop again, Mark. Getting weird with Goida. Thanks for playing these monkey shine games with us.
Hey, at least we got people thinking about all kinds of good stuff, right?
Darn right. Thanks for joining us
And
tonight.
don't worry about it. I still got,
Hey, we're trying to say goodbye, Goida, okay?
I know. I got 3 liters left in my 5-liter vintage.
Slap the bag. Slap the bag. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to get a bag of wine, man.
Hey, real quick, though, on a serious note, one more time with your Battle Hawk cry.
I'm not dropping any bread around here. They're going to swoop in on us. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Love you guys.
Talk to you later.
Love you too. We're on that.
All right. I didn't know we got to that point. It's getting kind of serious here.
Okay.
Hey, listen, you
say goodbye. She
ends
it.
Yeah.
I tried to get off 30 times.
You getting it yet? Do I have
Why
to
do you
wear the
command
ringmaster?
respect?
Do I have to wear the ringmaster suit to make it possible for you to understand this control that I have? Hey, who made the second hour possible?
My buddy and our close personal friend who we wish was our dad.
James Carlton.
James Carlton. Insurance. Stupendous. Fantastical.
CarltonInsurance.net, 314-961-4800. He has been along since the very beginning, the very first sponsor to come on board. He's the best State Farm agent in the game. He does better. He does a better job. If you don't have James Carlton, I'm going to laugh in your face because I have better insurance than you do. I got the Battle Hawk for my my insurance agent. His name's James Carlton. He's down at 34 North Gore Avenue. Okay?
He named his son Battle Hawk.
Yeah, Battle Hawk Luck.
Guys,
stick around.
Stick around.
Steve and I are going to tell some stories and give you some streaming picks, and it's going to be awesome. This is WGNU 920 AM. Stick around on the other side of the break. Hoosier Sophisticate.
James Carlton Insurance 314-961-4800. Handsome, amazing, astonishing, astounding, fabulous, incredible, fantastical, phenomenal, prodigious, stupendous, unbelievable, wondrous, divine, fantastical. No, seriously, he's fantastical. You got a house, go on and get it insured. You got a car, you gotta get it insured. You got a life, go on and get it insured. James Carlton Insurance.net. Fantastic. Stupendous. Fantastic.
Spiders are found on nearly every continent on the earth. Bugs and arachnids, and insects and other little critters are vital to the earth's homeostasis, keeping our and making all of our lives better. They are vital, beautiful little creatures. Unless you come in my house, all in Rose extermination.
Jill.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
And just go Google it. I wanna let those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna let those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding, Google it.
Roof up for a lifetime. You know I'll make your neighbors cry. Boo, hoo. Cause we till all the leaks go by. And you know we all do the side.
Party boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
Hey girl, where you wanna go?
I don't care. I just love you.
Are you hungry? Do you wanna get something to eat?
I don't care. I'm kind of hungry.
Well, what sounds good?
Anything sounds good. You pick.
How about some Mexican?
No, I had yesterday.
How about we get some Italian food?
Ew.
Okay, now you're not saying anything. You're just
I
giving
just
me a
want
look.
something delicious.
What does that even mean?
I want to sit outside.
Applebee's?
Applebee's
No,
is
Applebee's.
gross. I'm not
Applebee's is
eating
good.
Applebee's.
I don't know why you're always
Applebee's fries
hating on
are
Applebee's.
disgusting.
Applebee's is one of
They're
my favorite darn
gross.
places to go ever.
I'm not eating Applebee's.
I wanna go to Truman. Let's go to Truman. Truman. I wanna go to Truman. We agree on Truman. I love Truman. I love Truman.
Truman's and Soulard, a place we can all agree upon.
Yanks come home. After a hard-fought battle in the Aleutian Islands, and after saving the homes, ideals, and values of free people from Axis domination, our boys and girls are coming home after kicking Hitler's butt. Oh boy. On the home front, Bell Chiropractic and Pain Management has been helping our boys and girls with back pain, primary care, and medical marijuana physician certification. The devil lettuce. STL for more details.
Political scandals, crimes on Wall Street, the nation's biggest murders. It's Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell.
Following the Stephen Avery case from false imprisonment for 18 years for rape, money laundering, murder inside the Vatican Bank, which makes Wall Street. It took 13 years, 3 trials, 2 juries, inside the story of bringing Bill Cosby to justice.
Forensic Talk with Jim Campbell, part of the Biz Talk Network. Saturdays from 6 to 7 p.m. here on WGNU.
When we installed internet access on our computer, I got the whole family involved. It was a lot of worth it.
That's right, Dad. Now the whole family can stream WGNU live 20am.com.
We installed the internet on our computer just a short time ago, and I haven't been able to get the kids off it ever since.
That's right. Isn't the internet neat? You can also listen to past shows and featured interviews on our homepage.
No wonder you guys are always so busy on the computer.
WGNU920am.com. Point, click, and listen live.
It's really cool.
WGNU, the talk of St. Louis. Broadcasting on 920 AM and 106.9 FM.
No need for the bride to feel tragic. The rest is push button. The Frigidaire kitchen does it all for you. My cake is ready.
Toads have been found which do secrete DMT-like compounds. There are many chemical compounds in nature which are psychoactive, but a much narrower spectrum of these compounds are truly what we call psychedelic or mind manifesting.
Let's take a trip, St. Louis, with Hoosier Sophisticate Radio, presented by Marcelio Media. Now we're throwing it back to Stephen Elgin and Craig Kohler. Now water your brain and watch it grow, 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 grow.
Ooh, the sultry sounds of our boy Integrity. Guys, you can get his album online. He's got a new one dropping real soon. Check out Integrity
Okay.
Music. He's always he was such a great part of this show, and Mark is finding his stride, baby. He's finding his stride. I love everybody that makes all of this possible, including Lifetime Roofing.
Roof.
Guys, do you need exterior work done?
Do
need
you?
some roofing work done?
Do you?
Siding?
Yes.
They'll fly a drone over your house and they'll
Mhm.
tell you everything wrong with it before they do anything. All right. They're the best customer service, hands down. Unbelievable. Give a portion of every dollar they make goes back to the community because that's what they're about. Veteran owned.
What more do
A
you
dog
want?
runs the crew. I mean, they're an equal opportunity employer for multiple
Yes.
species.
What?
Okay.
What? Follow them on Facebook, or you know what you can do?
You can go Google them.
You can just go Google it.
Google it.
You can go Google
Lifetime Roofing. They're awesome.
Roof?
LifetimeSTL.com. I had a couple of things. I was listening
Sure.
to some podcasts while I was working out in the yard.
Oh, you cutting the grass lower than the neighbors again, eh, boy?
I got a solid 2.5, 3 inches on them right now.
You
Only
are
on
a
his side.
man.
It's terrible in the
You're a
backyard.
man.
The part that nobody can see, it's just
Good.
a wild forest. But
Good.
up against his property line,
Good.
it looks like a golf course.
Good. I'll go ahead and
But I had an opportunity to catch up on some podcasts. And I was listening to Shane Moss talk to a professor, and they were talking about happiness, and it went into this whole deal, and it kind of got a little scary. I want to ask this maybe the next time we have Sam Lyons in here or other comedians that we might talk to. She was asking about he was talking about how like a lot of things don't really register as super funny to him. I wonder if telling jokes on the regular, and you and I, we'll work out skit stuff. We'll work out ideas.
Sure.
And I think we find a good way to laugh at just about everything. But to hear him, like, I think when you're a professional working comedian and you're constantly working jokes and seeing where they're at, it's no wonder why some of these guys are the most depressed people on the planet, guys and gals. Because
they're the laughers, not the laughies.
well, they're the maker of laughter, and so they're like, oh, does this work? And of course, that's not to say that they're not, a void of humor. Quite the opposite, but it doesn't trigger the same signals inside of them that maybe it would for us when we hear that joke.
No, don't lump me in with you. I would lump myself in more with the Shane Moss.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I'm constantly working jokes. I'm constantly doing shtick.
And I'm happy to let you know when they land.
Constantly go. Yes,
I'm happy to let you know when they land.
And that's what I like about you, because I don't think I laugh very much. If I go to a party and there's a guy and he's yucking it up, or a gal,
you hate that guy.
Well, I'm not a fan. Okay, let's just put it that way. And 100 times out of 100, someone will come up to me at some point in the night and say, "Have you met Bobby? He reminds me of you so much." And I have to take a deep look inside and realize, oh, you hate yourself. That's why you hate this person doing you over there better than you do you. But I've come to grips with all that. But I know I kind of get it, because people that make me laugh are the people I feel that usually do it unintentionally. You're kind of naturally funny. Yeah, that's why I kind of glommed onto you a little bit after that, because I used to have my own show. The whole thing went down. But no, that I can respect that. And we're gonna go see old Shane here probably in a couple weeks. We got something big in the works, don't we?
We do, man. We're heading up to Michigan. It's about just a little over 2 weeks out. We're heading up to the University of Michigan. It's a bummer that the Wolverines aren't in town, because I've never been to the big house. Maybe we'll just have to make a little trip into the big house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Head on down to the Rust
I'm gonna
Belt.
drive
We're gonna get on
by
up there to
Chevelle.
Michigan. We're gonna head on down there, and we're gonna get out there to the big house at the University of Michigan. They got a little psychedelic science symposium.
And it's Battlehawk country.
2019. Battlehawk. That's going to be awesome.
Symposium.
I'm looking forward to it. Rick Doblin is the keynote speaker. Rick
Don't you
Strassman's
say
going to be
it. Don't
talking
you
there.
say it.
And we found
Oh,
out that
son of
our
a gun.
guy, Shane Moss, is going to be up there too. I don't know if he's speaking during the symposium. I have no idea. I've reached out to him.
better.
Hopefully we can cross paths. We're going to be in a legal state, so maybe we'll be able to bring you guys some maybe some reviews, or maybe my first ever legal dispensary experience. I'm pretty excited about that. And who knows? We're going to be up in God's country. Maybe we can go catch some northern lights or something.
My ID's invalid. So I won't be
Can
going
we just
in there.
can I take you to get that handled?
I got a whole thing going on.
Can I take you to get that handled?
I got a whole thing going on.
That's all right. I got a warrant out for
I'm
my
a
arrest.
sovereign citizen. I'm
Yeah,
a sovereign citizen, baby.
is that what you're working up right now?
I'm working on
Okay,
something
you got a
right now.
passport or anything? We'll figure it out. Listen, real
I
quick
don't
before
wanna
we get
say.
into streaming picks, I want to make a kind of a quick point because one of the
A quick point from you.
I know. It's kind of one of the things that I think we try to do often
your
is
sundial.
explain the ineffable that is the psychedelic experience.
Sure.
Which is this is such a simple thought, but people are always trying to make people understand the psychedelic experience. And then people are like, well, that's just all happening in your brain. Like they're trying to equate it to something that happens to you physically. But that isn't the psychedelic experience is one that in order to explain it, you can't look at it from the constraints that we live with in a 3D reality, right? Because what you're experiencing is certainly extra dimensional, So I had this idea of like when we'll bring it back to the story I told about the wallflowers thing, right? Where I'm like in the moment, like it wasn't like I heard the song for the first moment. I actually experienced what my body was telling me that I experienced was being in there in that moment, being acknowledged by the people in the room. That was the experience that was going on. Now that sounds like complete lunacy to somebody's like, no, you've heard the song a million times. You're projecting memories and nostalgia on it. And you know what it was like in 1995.
Well, to say it's all in your head is you could say that about
about literally anything. And so I'd like to see when people are explaining this experience to truly feel that, because there's nothing that invalidates the fact that what I felt in that moment was that song coming together for the first time. Whether or not you believe that took place is irrelevant. That was the actual feeling that I had, right? Like, so you're kind of trying to convince people that this crazy magical otherworldly thing is happening. And you're doing it by giving them all of these little points of reference that maybe they can tie into. And the only way that I know how to explain that is to say, I was sitting in that moment doing that. And that's what the psychedelic experience is. It's so hard to put into words, right? And it's so hard to believe as you're actually experiencing it, that when you come back and put it to earthly tongue
I like
try and make it.
I like being on the journey and thinking, wow, I'm really going to explain it to the people when I get back in there, because I get it now.
Yeah, and the only way to explain it is completely invalidated by all of these things that you use as reference points in this dimension. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, I actually experienced that. That was the experience of that was the journey. That was of course it's playing with different receptors and there's all kinds of chemical reactions.
There's a physical thing going on too.
1,000,000%. But at the same time, the best way that I can explain what actually happens is by telling you the most unbelievable thing that you could ever imagine. So go try and figure that out.
It's a fish story.
It is the fish story. I mean, like Seth was saying, you could have just said, hey, I caught a 5-pound bass.
Yeah.
But
also when you don't have the fish to show, it's a story to people.
It's just a story, but you experience it doesn't invalidate the experience.
Nope. Everything was real for me.
Sure.
And even talking to Jen on the phone, I told her I'd caught the fish. This is after I'd caught the fish. And it wasn't until the pictures got over to her on her phone when I was on the phone with her that she even realized, whoa, you were not kidding.
Right.
And that is, the picture is almost them experiencing the psychedelic for themselves.
It would be nice if we could take that snapshot. When the way that Black Mirror, shows like people with recorded thoughts and things like that, and it's a terrifying prospect. But man, if I could just, take a snapshot of exactly what I'm seeing. Okay, do you believe me now?
Yes.
But see, a picture doesn't. In that, sometimes the trip, the experience is not. It's not a visual thing, and it's not an auditory thing, and it's not a thing that you're feeling, a tactile thing. It's all of those things at once. And the only way to experience it is to build a make-believe scenario that people can somewhat thrust themselves in to understand what it is that you're saying.
DMT is kind of the snapshot.
Well, it is, but it's so far removed from your waking consciousness that like it's so hard to bring.
And
that back.
as far as a snapshot goes, it's one of those cameras they were using in Tombstone and Back to the Future 3 with the giant light
explosion.
Flash.
Yes.
Yes. That's the picture there. The guy gets under a hood to
like
get
King
away
Ralph.
from you.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the snapshot that DMT gives you.
It's near impossible to bring back. But again, like that, even that wouldn't explain my journey with the Wallflower song.
Sure.
I could have said, okay, hey, look, here I am. I'm sitting there, and I don't know, maybe I could show Jacob Dylan the photo. And he's like, I was wearing that.
Oh,
I was, or so, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's like there's only a couple people that could validate being in that moment.
Sure.
And who knows how much my brain is actually playing around with the surroundings of clearly 100%. It's playing around with the environment.
Sure.
But that's not what the experience was. The experience was being there when those notes came together for the first time.
And even them being able to validate that historic moment, that moment in time in their heads.
Yeah.
Every time they have thought about that memory has changed in their brain. Every time the chemicals and the electricity went and fired down that memorial synapse, it changed that memory for them. So even if you are validating it with the people who are the only people that can validate it, they never can because that moment is gone. That's why it's always good to live in the present.
No doubt.
If you can, because that is gone.
And it's never really the present, right? Like
you're always
you're always a little bit behind the present. So all right. Let's do this thing. I think we may have dropped our feed, but we're gonna wrap this thing up real nice, like with a little bit of
We like movies, so do we. We like internet, so do you.
It's the
streaming picks of the week. And Hulu, it's the streaming picks of the week.
And Amazon Prime, it's
the streaming picks of the week.
And we like the internet too. What are you watching, brother?
Buddy, I have been waiting for this. And it's an HBO joint. I watch it on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It's our guy, Danny McBride.
I love Danny
He's
McBride.
A home run hitter when it comes to directing.
Man, is he ever.
When it comes to writing, he's thoroughly amazing. He is now on HBO doing The Righteous Gemstones.
John Goodman,
Adam Devine, the kid from Workaholics. And actually a guy who's been on We Are Live, friends, they used to be on 920, We Are Live, Chris Dedman, Chris
Travis
Gardner, Travis Terrell. They have this comedian on, I actually forget his name right now. If I could buy stock in comedians, I would sell every bit of Sam Lyon stock I have because I have a lot.
You're holding a bunch. It's penny stock.
And I'll move it all to this guy that I don't even know his name. Okay. He plays it. The basis of the show is it's a family of evangelists, John Goodman and his deceased wife, which you think is deceased. I don't know yet. They just play her off as being dead, kind of. And John Goodman was, the typical, had that the hair of the preacher in the 70s and 80s, that helmet head hair. And he was the biggest thing going. And now he has sons. He has Danny McBride and Adam Devine, and then a daughter who is the weird teacher from Vice Principals. And even I saw the other guy from Vice Principals who's in a bunch of stuff, Hateful Eight, all that.
Yep.
That actor's in
the
it.
other
too.
vice principal.
Yes, he comes into the show at some point. But they're an evangelist, very wealthy, big name,
mega church family.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a couple stories going on. The priests of the town don't like the preachers of the town, don't like them moving in. And Danny McBride, they find a videotape of him. This is all the first episode. They find a videotape of him doing just awful things.
Gotcha.
And so now he's being blackmailed. So there's so many things going on. It's another great dark comedy in the same vein.
30-minute show or an hour show?
Wow.
Like is it a short sitcom like a Silicon Valley?
I think I couldn't even tell you. I think it's probably 45 maybe.
Okay.
Because it'll reel you in. It's funny. It's ridiculous. You can tell there's probably a lot of ad lib going on, but the comedian from who's maybe my new favorite character. Like I feel like when I saw Dwight for the first time, it reminded me of this guy. Just that excitement over a character. The hormone monster, another perfect example. This guy's an ex-Satan worshiper, and he's best buddies with Adam Devine. And he tells him, "Yeah, I would. You saved me from the dark side. I would kill myself for you." And Adam Devine says, "Yeah, you say that a lot." And everyone around him looks around. What is wrong with this guy? He's got 666 tattooed on his chest. Has the worst haircut, like a mullet undercut.
Nice.
So check out The Righteous Gemstones
On HBO.
On HBO, I stream it on Prime.
Right on, man. I got a Prime show myself. Okay. I've actually watched quite a few things, and I'm going to give an honorable mention because it's only a 15-minute. But Tom York has a 15-minute music video on Netflix.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
called Anima. It's really weird, but it's perfectly perfectly Radiohead, perfectly Tom York. Check that out. But that's not my streaming pick. My streaming pick, I blew through it this week. Started it last week when my brother was in town. We just kind of stumbled upon it, and it's right up my alley. It was Good Omens on Amazon Prime. Have you seen that?
No, Good Omens?
Good Omens is it tells a story. David Tennant he's a demon, and he actually, so this ties into what Carolyn Goyer was talking about. He's a demon. He actually was the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Okay. And I cannot remember the other main actor's name, but he's Aziraphale. He's another angel that had the flaming sword that he actually right out the gate gives this flaming sword to Adam and Eve fame. And so these guys have kind of been canceling each other's workout for the last 6 millennia. And it's hilarious. It's really cool. It plays. They do a really great job of just telling the story. God is played by Frances McDormand, and so she kind of narrates this thing. And you have all of the angels. John Hamm plays Gabriel, and so all of these they're planning for this interplanar Armageddon war. They're going to finally settle what's going on. They're going to settle the score of the original battle between heaven and hell. So the angels and demons are kind of, they're planting seeds. The demons have brought the Antichrist to Earth to kickstart the Armageddon. And Crowley, who is played by David Tennant, you might know him as I think he was the 9th Doctor, maybe the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who. He's
the 10th,
terrific, yeah, really good. The one right before Matt Smith, so I'm not sure if that's the 10th or not. But anyway, he's
who
great.
Doesn't know the order?
He plays a really good demon, and they have this it's a really fun time. It kind of has like a Constantine feel where the angels and demons are kind of jockeying against one another, but these two are kind of caught in the middle, and they're trying to ultimately save Earth. Like they're really fond of humans. They've been kind of coming up, spending all their time on Earth. They don't spend a whole lot of time up above or down below. It's a good show, man. It's got a lot of comedy. It's really fun.
I'm going to tell you right now, I tried to watch it. I couldn't get into it. I watched the first couple episodes, and it was too much for me.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm always into anytime they can tie a little mythology, into
sure. And
I
was
Christian
in
faith, like all that's super fun. It's got some hokey stuff towards the end with the Antichrist and whatnot, but it's all in all pretty funny. They do a great job of telling these biblical stories, like showing these two dudes, like when Noah's about to take off with the ark. And what kind of filter you got on me right now?
Oh, I don't have any, but thank you.
Great.
But thank you.
Anyway, my pick's Good Omens. It was a lot of fun. It's only 6 episodes. I laughed throughout it, and I had fun with the mythology. It was a good time.
That sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I watched it and it was bad, but it sounds good when you talk
we can't all
about it.
have HBO subscriptions. Rich guy.
I'm the richest man in all the land.
Let's wrap this thing up, brother.
Let's do it.
All right.
We lost our feed, so I'm live on the Sophisticated.
Oh, is that what's going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, did you shut it all down? You sure did.
No, it shut down.
Oh, you sure did. No, we're still live on YouTube.
I know. It shut down.
Good. Hey, listen, we want to thank our sponsors one last time through. Bell Chiropractic and Pain Management, bellchirostl.com. If you guys need a recommendation, you need to give them a shout. They're also, maybe you're not feeling, maybe you're a guy and you're just not feeling like the steed you used to be. You might have low T. Go have them check you out. They'll shoot you up with a little testosterone. They'll get you all regulated. They'll get it right. They'll do laser hair removal. They'll do tattoo removal. But most importantly, they're unbelievable chiropractic practice. If you found yourself in a car accident or any other kind of, maybe you're just a little tweaked, maybe you slept on that neck wrong, go check out bellchirostl.com. All right. James Carlton State Farm. He made the entire first hour possible. CarltonInsurance.net, 314-961-4800. He's the best. I wish he was my dad. Steve wishes he was his dad.
I wish he was my dad.
Warning, system hacked. Warning.
Why? Every week it happens to us.
Countdown sequence initiated.
We got to do something about the cybersecurity.
Evacuation. Security breach detected. Your intelligence is under attack. Extracting dark matter. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, lifetimestl.com. That's good stuff right there, brother. Go Google them. They're going to take care of all of your exterior work. Let's give a shout out to Rose Extermination because you still got bugs and they want to get rid of them for you. They've been wonderful sponsors throughout this term. We love the people over at Rose Extermination. And if you ask them for the Cucky Special, they will give you a deal. They'll give you a discount. They'll come out. They'll kill your bugs. And then they'll shake your hand and maybe even kiss you on the lips in true Cucky fashion. Steve, it's been a lot of fun, buddy. I'm glad you got to land that hog the other day. I was the look on your face was terrific. All you parents out there, don't sell your kids short. They're capable of talking about hard things. They're capable of learning hard things and doing hard things. And the only place they're going to learn that is from you. So don't be afraid to include your kids and help them along the way. I sure love you, buddy.
I love you too, man.
We're heading up to Michigan. We got a fundraiser on the 27th for the Vibe Tribe. Pretty juiced about.
Okay.
We got all kinds of stuff going on. We got Piney Powwow, October 18th through the 20th. Go check out, get your tickets. See if you can't find a way to get that password. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU. We sure love you, St. Louis.
Love you.
Be
Bye.
well.
Credit card bills have gotten out of hand and you care about your credit, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 6 million people with credit card debt. Without destroying your credit, they can consolidate your debts into one lower payment, reduce your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. The program works. Call Consolidated Credit now. Call 800-406-0046. 800-406-0046. That's 800-406-0046. Consolidated Credit Counseling Services, Inc., 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Maryland DM 1492, Oregon DM 80092. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation. Commission license number DC 83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action, not a loan company.
I think they want to make a deal. I'm not sure they have a choice. And I don't say that as a threat.